Pradeep, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Content is king for any conference.
Yep.
IIT 2013 is no exception. The amazing thing is that you had to build this on top of the previous conference that happened. As a global brand, is even bigger challenge. So as the chair of the program, who better than you to ask this question? Program designing is the key.
Yeah.
Share us some of the workings and the thought processes and the strategies that went into making this huge conference a big success.
I'd be delighted to do that. When I was asked to take over and chair the program content, the theme of the conference was already defined. Okay, it's to the credit of Witty and Pratish, the chairs. Coach Witty is the chair, Pratish is the vice chair of the conference. It's to their credit. They came up with a theme which was just phenomenal, inspiring innovation for tomorrow. Now, when you have a theme like inspiring innovation for tomorrow, and you made the chair for program content, what do? I went to the words and said, okay, inspiring innovation. But what struck me was the word tomorrow. What does the word tomorrow mean? So I focused on that word, went around, looked at a few forecasts about tomorrow, and decided to peg my whole strategy on 1 year, 2045.
Wow.
2045. By 2045, the world's population will be about 9 billion people. And borrowing from the founding fathers of India as well as the United States, I believe each of these 9 billion people had a right to not only pursuit of happiness, but also to an education and the right to a healthy life. However, I also recognized that there was going to be tremendous stress at that time. If these people are going to lead good, healthy lives, there's going to be what I called a stress nexus. What do I mean by that? We'll need 50% more food, 30% more water, 50% more energy. And the question is, how do we get there from here? After a lot of thinking, going through it, and this is what I do for a living, I came up with, we're going to use steel threads to weave a tapestry of innovations to meet the challenges of the future. Why steel? Because they stood for sustainability, technology, education, energy, and life sciences. And threads because all of these actually intermingle and are interwoven with each other. So, the whole strategy that we built, the first step was, where should we go? And that direction, essentially, we're going to use steel threads to create a tapestry of innovation for the future, is what defined our strategy. The next step after that was to go out there, and I set some very simple rules. We're going to get speakers, and I drew a triangle. We're going to get speakers, number one on top, at the apex of this triangle was, we're going to get folks who are world-class thought leaders. Okay, that's the first qualification. After that, in terms of selection, we said, these are world-class thought leaders who have the ability to either attract attendees, and again, we are a volunteer organization and we are not funded. They need to attract sponsors. That's it. World-class, attract attendees, or thought leaders. So now that we had defined the framework, or what I call, these are actually guardrails that allow you to make decisions. I went out within the IIT and the non-IIT community. If you don't know this, but a lot of people on my program team are not from IIT. I went for best of class in terms of my organization. My co-chair, Sunil Pangarkar, is not an IITian. Okay? And it's important to recognize the person back, the producer, Ishwar Iyer, Mohan Natarajan, these are not IITians. But what brings them to the table is like everybody else. Why should we restrict ourselves to focusing on only IITians when we have to produce a show? We go for the best of talent. So what happened very early is, as soon as I created these guardrails, I looked for volunteers within the community. The IIT alumni of Greater Houston has always been, and I'm actually a founder and trustee of that organization. It has always been an inclusive organization. I started the IIT Bombay Alumni Organization, and then I discovered that, this whole business about just thinking about one IIT is not good enough. So I changed the name from IIT Bombay Alumni Organization to IIT Bombay Forum to IIT Forum, just IIT Forum. You saw me, I've lived here a long time, to IIT Alumni of Greater Houston. But it is a very inclusive organization. Our trustees can be IITians and non-IITians, and Sunil Pangarkar was one of the early trustees of the organization. Now, that's what you need, a great team. Very early in the game, some of these team members dropped out because they believed that this is a volunteer organization, but I had one more condition. There is no room for mediocrity. You cannot have mediocrity in a volunteer organization. You got to recognize that it's not only important to be ambitious in this whole thing, but we have a moral duty to the people who come to the conference, because what they are giving us is an irreplaceable resource. They're giving us their time. They're giving us their trust. So when they show up over here, you need to deliver a conference which is world-class. Because where do we live? We live in the United States. Every other conference is world-class. Why should our conference be anything less than that? And why can't our conference be better than that if you truly believe that IITians are world-class? So that is and I'm telling you, this is the emotion that I drive through the organization, whether it's witty, whether it's Pratish. I do not like to hear the words, "it is what it is," because I do not tolerate mediocrity. And if you see details out here, because it is something out here that we constantly strive for, which is focus on the details, make sure that everything that goes on over here, okay, as you can tell from the program so far, is it on time?
Absolutely.
Is the content great?
Yes.
Are people pleased?
Yes.
Is the food good? Is the chai masala good enough? Every aspect of the program, once you focus on quality, it permeates throughout the organization. And I'll tell you, I have never been prouder of a team than I am today, of the local IIT AGH team, than I've ever been in my life. They are phenomenal. So what I'm proud about, and what they say, when a good plan comes together, you feel very good. And at the end of the day, you look back and you look at, we had good guardrails, we had what I call distributed decision making. My team, my program team, I have thread leaders. These people, I gave them 2 instructions. You remember my triangle? But I gave them one more instruction. I told them, they're all young. By the way, I'm always believed in mentoring and encouraging the next generation. So if you look at the chairs, I report to people who are 20 years younger than me, okay? They are my superiors, okay? But my team in the programs is even younger than them, because I'm mentoring the next generation, and I have to. I told them one thing: make decisions. People are always afraid of making decisions, but make sure that you understand that you have the ability to absorb the risk of a bad decision. Don't be afraid. Be ambitious. Go do it. If you make a mistake, it's okay. So these are all the different pieces that came together to create the program that you've seen so far. So when I walk around, there are people out there stopping me and saying, hey, how much they're enjoying the conference. But the credit is really not me. I can sit out here and have this interview while there is Dan Nanan and Usha Uthup ready to go on. because there are all these people who've been empowered to make decisions, and they've given guardrails to make the right decisions, and they know what needs to be done when, to the nth degree of detail. And these are all things that they have developed on their own. Delegation.
Pradeep, I think at the end of the day, what is gratifying for you and everybody else involved with you is always a team effort.
Thank you.
So I guess on behalf of all of us here, a great job, well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, thank you for having me on the show. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.